Last night, Taylor Swift made her podcast debut, revealing details about her 12th album, The Life of a Showgirl. But she also seemingly shaded Blake Lively.
Taylor Swift has once again set the internet on fire. But this time, it's not just about her music, it's about what her lyrics might secretly reveal. With the announcement of her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl, Swifties immediately zoomed in on one particular track, Ruin the Friendship. The title alone was enough to send social media into a frenzy, with many speculating it could be a thinly veiled reference to her once close bond with Blake Lively. For years, Taylor and Blake have been Hollywood's favourite example of an unlikely but inseparable friendship. Blake directed one of Taylor's music videos. Her and Ryan Reynolds' daughter even had a cameo in Taylor's song Gorgeous, and the two seemed practically family. But now, whispers of distance and tension have started to creep in.
Friendship, which I talked about, track number 6, is obviously, it makes so much sense that is about Blake Lively. Because if it wasn't, why would she have a song with that name, knowing that everyone would speculate that it is about Blake Lively? And the song is called Ruin the Friendship. And that friendship is what everyone kept talking about for the last year.
Fans are asking whether this new song could be Taylor's way of addressing a private fallout in public. Add to that another track titled Cancelled, and you've got the perfect storm of speculation, drama, and suspicion. Exactly the kind of puzzle Swift is known for planting in her music. And this time, the clues might be pointing directly at Blake Lively. Taylor Swift is known for keeping her interviews scarce, which is why her surprise appearance on Travis Kelce's New Heights podcast nearly broke the internet. Not only was it a rare moment of vulnerability from the world's biggest pop star, but it was also a public glimpse into her personal life with her NFL boyfriend, something Swifties rarely get outside of her lyrics. Within just a few hours, the episode had racked up over 5 million views, crashing servers and forcing the show to post an apology tweet about literally breaking the internet. But the highlight wasn't just her candid banter. It was the moment Taylor unveiled her 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl. She explained that the project was less about the bright lights of her record-shattering Eras tour and more about the emotional storms she endured when the cameras weren't rolling.
Yes, Swift felt exploited by Lively. Insider says, while this isn't a political record, Swift was motivated by the excitement at the time around Kamala, when she recorded some of these songs. Taylor has a point to prove and is ready to silence people who said her career is broke because she went woke. When it comes to Lively, the insider added, she did write about Blake last year, but it's no longer the focus of the album because she wanted it to be positive and feel good. You hear that, Blake? She doesn't think you're feel good. Now,
Taylor revealed the album cover, the tracklist, and emphasized that each song was essential. None could be swapped out or replaced. Swifties immediately went into detective mode, dissecting every track title for hidden meanings, and one stood out above all: Ruin the Friendship. The title alone was enough to spark chaos across fan forums and gossip blogs. Ruin the Friendship, slotted at track 6, had fans convinced Taylor was hinting at trouble with Blake Lively. Their friendship has long been Hollywood royalty. Blake has directed one of Taylor's videos, and Ryan Reynolds' voice and their daughter's cameo have been woven into Taylor's music. For years, the two families seemed inseparable, sharing holidays, birthdays, and even subtle nods on stage. So why a song with such a loaded title now? Theories snowballed even faster when fans spotted track 10, Cancelled. To many, it felt like a double blow, a potential nod to Blake's ongoing controversies, including the backlash from her film It Ends With Us. But while fans were busy building theories, others pointed out the timeline didn't quite add up. Taylor said the album was shaped during the Eras tour, which wrapped before Blake's scandals truly peaked. Still, the coincidence was too strong for fans to ignore. Whether intentional or not, Taylor had just ignited a storm of speculation, leaving her listeners desperate to decode who exactly this friendship track was meant to expose.
Things have not worked out for me the way I thought they would this week, but they're not gonna work out for Blake Papini either.
Blake Lively kept talking about the friendship during the entire PR campaign she did for It Ends With Us. She said that Taylor Swift was with her the entire way and blah, blah, blah. And then everyone's been talking about the friendship when it fell apart after Blake Lively tried to blackmail Taylor Swift.
If the album theories weren't enough, the real-life drama surrounding Blake Lively only poured gasoline on the fire. Last year, Blake found herself in a full-blown feud with her It Ends With Us co-star, Justin Baldoni. What started as whispers about behind-the-scenes tension exploded when Blake accused Justin of harassment and creating a toxic work environment. Within days, the New York Times picked up the story, and Hollywood was buzzing. But Justin didn't back down. He hit Blake, Ryan Reynolds, and even her publicist with a jaw-dropping $400 million defamation countersuit, claiming they orchestrated a smear campaign to tank his reputation. And somehow, Taylor Swift's name got pulled into the crossfire. Justin's legal team attempted to subpoena her, alleging that Blake used her close friendship with Taylor and Ryan as leverage during heated script disputes. In their filings, they even cited a text where Blake allegedly called Taylor and Ryan her dragons, implying their influence was her weapon in Hollywood fights. Taylor's camp swiftly denied having any involvement, clarifying that her only connection to the film was licensing one of her songs, just like nearly 20 other artists did. But the damage was done. Suddenly, Taylor was stuck in the middle of someone else's war. As the lawsuits escalated, things took a darker turn. Reports surfaced that Blake Lively had allegedly threatened to leak a decade's worth of private text messages between her and Taylor unless Taylor publicly backed her in the feud with Justin Baldoni. According to filings, Justin's team even claimed they got this information from someone shockingly close to Taylor herself, her own father. Page 6 reported that Scott Swift voluntarily came forward with details, supposedly as part of a deal to pull his daughter out of the legal mess. The story was wild. Blake's lawyer had allegedly phoned Taylor's legal team, requesting that she post a statement of support. If not, those private texts were supposedly going public. Taylor's side flatly denied any coercion, calling it an absurd attempt to drag her into a scandal she had nothing to do with. Still, the fact that her father allegedly shared details with Justin's camp only made fans believe something was seriously fractured behind the scenes. The subpoena against Taylor was eventually dropped, but the headlines had already painted a picture of a friendship on life support. For Swifties, the drama wasn't just about Blake and Justin anymore. It was about whether Taylor had quietly cut off one of her oldest Hollywood allies. While Taylor Swift never addressed Blake Lively directly, fans insist she dropped carefully worded hints that spoke volumes. During her New Heights podcast appearance, Taylor opened up about how exhausting it is to see her name plastered across headlines for stories she isn't even involved in. "My name can be in the headline, and it can still be none of my business," she said. To most, it sounded like a broader comment on fame, but for Swifties, it struck a chord that felt far too close to the Blake Lively-Justin Baldoni scandal. After all, Taylor had been dragged into that courtroom drama despite having no role in the film and no control over Blake's actions. Fans quickly speculated that her "none of my business" line was a subtle way of addressing how her image was weaponized in someone else's war. Social media lit up with theories that this was her indirect response to the alleged threats of text leaks. Was Taylor hinting at betrayal without naming names? Whether coincidence or calculated, the timing of her comments only fueled suspicion. And for a fanbase trained to dissect every word, it was yet another clue that Taylor and Blake's friendship may not have survived the chaos. Now the question everyone is asking is simple. Did Taylor Swift just turn her private fallout with Blake Lively into music? The answer won't be clear until the album drops, and even then, Swift's songs are famously layered with metaphors, double meanings, and deliberate misdirection. Fans are already split. Some believe Ruin the Friendship is aimed squarely at Blake, while others argue it could reference old tensions with former friends like Carly Kloss. Meanwhile, cancelled as a track title feels like it could be a broader nod to the culture around her or a sly wink at Blake's recent controversies. What makes it all so captivating is the uncertainty. Taylor doesn't hand over answers. She plants breadcrumbs, and her fans obsessively follow the trail. Whether or not this album is a veiled message to Blake, the speculation has already reshaped how people see their once unshakable friendship. And with every headline, tweet, and podcast clip, the tension only grows. The truth may never be spelled out in black and white, but one thing's certain, Taylor Swift has turned her personal storm into the biggest guessing game in Hollywood. The only question left is, when the lyrics finally land, will they confirm the friendship is over, or just keep us guessing?